Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to integrate Slack into your Bubble app, and we're going to do a couple different things so that it can become a really interactive experience. And this is going to tie in several different features that I've covered in this API bundle. We're actually going to work with webhook functionality to receive notifications from Slack, as well as posting information to Slack so that you can type in a message in your app and have it post to one of your channels in Slack, as well as creating slash commands so that when you enter in a slash command of some kind in Slack, that gets sent to your application, and then you can respond with a message so that it gets posted back in the Slack channel, sort of like a question and answer function like you do with bots within Slack. So the first thing you want to do is go to api.slack.com and go ahead and create a new application. I'm going to call this Coaching Demo. And I'm going to select my Coaching Bubble chat workspace. That's just the one that I'm logged into currently. And I'll hit Create App. Alright, and once you've created that, you can then begin to add in the different features and functionality that are possible with the Slack API. Let's post a message to Slack from our Bubble app. So what we're going to want to use for that is incoming webhooks. Okay, so I'm going to select that. And I'm going to activate that, so I'll turn that on. And then scroll down and go to Add New Webhook to Workspace. You can actually have multiple webhooks. You know, if you want to have one message go to one channel and another message go to another channel, this is where you can create all of those. And you can also see that here's a sample request so that you can see what header content is required and how everything else is formatted. So now that we have this information available to us, we can actually set up a call in our API connector. So I'm going to go jump over into my application and go to Plugins, then to my API connector, and I'm going to add a new API here called Slack Demo. And we're not going to do any authentication. It's going to be a self-handled set of calls, because basically when you create a new webhook, that's going to be a completely unique endpoint. So Slack will be able to identify you that way. So I'm going to expand this call, and I'm going to call this send message to general channel. Okay, so I'll have this being posted to my general channel in my Slack workspace, which I have opened up here. All right, so let's see, this needs to be a post call. I'm going to go back to the documentation here, and my webhook URL is going to be my endpoint. So let's go ahead and create one of those, add a new webhook. And this is going to ask me to authorize, and I'll need to select what channel. Again, this is Slack generating that unique webhook URL for you. So I'm going to hit general there and then authorize. Great. So now you can see here that I have my own webhook URL. So I will go ahead and copy that and paste this here. Okay, and I'm going to use this call as action because I want this to become available in my workflow section. Alright, so we have one parameter here where the key is text and then the value is hello world there. So let's just mimic that sample there. So I'm going to add a parameter, key is text, and the value hello world from Gabby. Okay. And let's see what else we need. We also need to add in a header here for content type. This is actually a pretty common header that you might run into, where you have to define what type of content you're sending to the service. That helps the service like Slack understand what to expect in terms of formatting. So this is looking for content type, and then the value is application/JSON. So I'm going to add a header here and type it in content type application JSON. Sometimes you might run into application/XML. You might run into URL encoded content type. There are a few of them out there. So, you know, just pay attention to the documentation and make sure that you're adding in the right one. And I think that's all we need. So let's go ahead and initialize the call. And I should get us, oops. And it says I have a truncated response. Let's see if it posted it in the, yep, there we go. There's my message right in the Slack channel. Hello world from Gabby. Looks like the response is coming back as a text. I got a truncated, Bubble truncated the response. Let's see, your message JSON as the body. Yeah, let's try doing data type text here and see what that gives us. I'm going to initialize again, call is initialized, and yep, it posted it again. So, but either way works. It looks like when I tell Bubble that the response I'm going to get back is text, then it just initializes it. It doesn't send me, it actually just doesn't send or show any kind of response pop-up. When I tell Bubble to expect a JSON response, it gave me that truncated success message, but still successful nonetheless because they both went through there. All right, so how do we use this in our app? Well, I can go to my demo page here and I can add an input to the page and a button to initiate it or to, trigger the action. This is going to be post to Slack general. Right? So then the workflow for this button is going to be a plugin action, and this is going to be, we're looking for Slack demo. I have so many here. There it is. Send message to general channel. And oops, it looks like I didn't make my text parameter not private. That's why it's not showing up there. So I got to uncheck that. And now it should become available. There it is. So now I can input the value of the input element. All right, so now let's preview this page. All right, so I'm going to type in a message here. Let's say testing from the demo page, and click on that. You can see that working. Okay, I'll go back to my general channel here, and there it is, testing from the demo page. Right, so we've got a pretty good connection here to Slack. This kind of functionality is super awesome for, creating this automated flow of your business. You don't have to trigger this from a button click. This is something that you can actually put into your API workflows. Say you have your webhook set up with Stripe and you have an endpoint set up for new customer events or new transaction events. Those that endpoint can in turn trigger these message postings to Slack so that you get a Slack notification every single time you receive a webhook from Stripe, right? So your Bubble app is starting to act like this hub of business information that's like all being automated for you. It's very cool, very powerful. I mean, it's really up to your imagination to get creative with how you want things to flow in and out of your application. All right, so now let's actually do a little bit of a reverse situation where I will enter in a / command here in Slack, have that data get sent to my Bubble app, and then have my Bubble app return a response. So basically, Slack is going to send whatever I type in here as a / command to my Bubble app, and that's going to act like a webhook, all right? So Bubble's going to be listening for a message from Slack, and as soon as it does, we'll send some information back as a response. So the first thing we need to do is set up a / command. All right, so I'm going to go to, let's see, / commands here, and I'm going to create a new command. Let's say this is number, how about user count? That's what we'll call it. Let's say I'm basically asking my Bubble app to give me the number of users that are in the app, right? So this will be the command for it. So here it's looking for the request URL. This is our endpoint URL, all right? If you remember from the workflow API video, there's a structure for your endpoint URLs, and that's what we need to enter in here. First, we need to actually create the endpoint. So I'm in my API workflow section here, and I'm going to create a new API endpoint. I'm going to call this user count. And let's see, we're going to keep it as a public endpoint. We're going to just say it can be run without authentication. I'm just going to make it all open for this demo here. And the action is going to be this message action that we just created, where we will post to the Slack channel. I can never find it. There it is. All right. So in this text here, it's going to be a search for users, and I'm going to have just the count and then type in the word users right there. How about we say, oops, let's change this again. You have, and then search for users, count, users. Alright, so we want to enter in our URL here, and if we go into the bubble reference, again, you can get the format of your endpoint URL. So I'm going to copy, I want the version test one. Let's grab it like that. There we go, and I'm just going to replace my values here. So the endpoint's actually called user count. That's what I called it right there. And we'll go, oops, where are we here? Here, I can close that one. All right, and then my app name is, this is coachingbubble.com, version test, and the rest should be good. All right, so that's my request URL for this endpoint. So now Slack knows where to send the data. It's going to send it to this endpoint. And again, the bubble reference has the structure here for you if you ever need to come back and reference that. Short description, this is just for when you're looking at your Slack settings. Let's just say this is a user account demo. Or actually we can call it retrieve your, what do I want to say? Actually we can call it how many users do you have? Okay. And we'll leave that optional, and that's the preview of the autocomplete entry, and let's hit save on that so we can create our new command. Alright, so now if I go back to my general, I can see that I added an integration. Let's try typing in my user count slash command so I can see it there. User count, and I can enter in my message, and as soon as I hit send, Slack will send that data to this endpoint. Alright, and then as a response to that endpoint, this action will get triggered and it will send back to Slack this message. Alright, so let's try that out. I really don't even need to type anything. I can just do the slash user count like that. And let's give it a second. There we go. You have 24 users right there, and it also includes the API response. Which is only visible to you, it says. Okay, but now see how I've pretty much created this like bot system where I created an API workflow to send Slack back information only when called. So that way I can always come into my Slack channel here, just type in my user count slash command, send that, and I'll always have the most updated information from my application because this will be sending only when it gets triggered, and it will perform that search at that time. Alright, and that's pretty much it. If you followed these steps, you should be able to create some really awesome functionality with your Bubble app and with your Slack accounts. If you need any help getting this set up in your application, please feel free to reach out. Slack's documentation is actually really great, so definitely open that up and take a look through it. There's so much you can do to it, especially since Slack is a really integrated service on its own, and by setting up several different webhooks, you can have your messages being posted to all those different channels, and you can also do mentions with people as well. So just check out the documentation for that. All the principles still apply. You're pretty much just using API calls with get and post methods, just like we've gone through in the other videos. This kind of a feature it really just proves how powerful integrating with other services can be, especially when it comes to automating your business. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it and learned something from all of the other API videos as well. Please let me know what you think if you have any feedback whatsoever. I love hearing from you guys. And please let me know what else you're interested in learning. Thanks so much for watching.